I've been off camera for a while. Hello. Well, I got sick, and I had just said that I would, do videos, right? This was a couple of months ago, and I just got sick, really sick. There was a terrible flu, cold thing going around. I'm gonna sit. And it was rough. I'm not gonna lie, and that was tough. And I broke down. When you have seizures, I don't know if this is part of it. I don't know if it's age, right? I forget things. I forget how to edit. I forget just simple things. And it's just frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I had to up my medication, so it was even worse. I find it very difficult to articulate. I've noticed that I miss words, and they're kind of important in a sentence. And I had fear. It's just about getting back on camera and trying all over again. And like I said, I had a bit of a breakdown between the sickness, and I felt like I was falling apart. And it took me some time to get back on camera and try to pull myself together. I noticed I start and stop things very easily, and that was already there. So that's something, there's a lot of things that I'm coming to terms with. One is age. That's something I never had to really deal with in my head. And just dying and age. And then I have in the past worked with elderly people, and to see the grace, that was helpful as they age and die. And I've told you that before. I know that bringing up teenagers is challenging, and it can make or break, right? So a marriage. And we both have really two different ways of disciplining our kids. And I think for being a Jehovah's someone who was very religious and in a cult and believed in a theocracy, right? Absolute theocracy. It was hard for me to let go of certain things in my mind, not to mention when you're dealing with a teenager, my teenagers aren't necessarily very clean. So asking them to do anything, that was hard to deal with. That's hard to deal with. And in my mind already, it's breaking down in so many ways. Like, to me, menopause is not easy for my body. Maybe it's easy for other women, but it's not easy for me. It's been a real trial. Not to mention the hot flashes. And I realized that I have to get off caffeine. When I got really sick, I had to get off caffeine. It was too much for my body. I couldn't deal with it when I got sick. And that was about 2.5 months ago. I still haven't found a job. That's been difficult. I want to be able to work. And on the medication, it's very difficult to work. I can't center my mind. It's going all over the place, and then my body just wants to go to bed. I have a mountain bike. I have an electric one, but I don't trust my upper body to hold it. So my husband got me a lot lighter bike, and in the last 2.5 weeks, I've ridden it. And for Parkinson's disease, the encouragement is for people to cycle, even if it's not being able to go outside because you can't really trust your body, to get a standalone bike and then just kind of, cycle and move those legs, because then it balances the brain. And so that biking has really helped me in just 2.5 weeks. Now, being able to do this consistently, we'll see, because just staying upright sometimes is a challenge. We went yesterday on flats only off of PCH. I'll show you. And I could probably stay there for maybe 30 minutes, and that was it. And it had to be flat. And during that 30 minutes, I had to stop 3 times, I think. So, brains are hard to deal with after seizures. So there's a lot of challenges. And it's very frustrating. Not to mention the frustration of feeling that you have to, like you should be so much further along in your recovery. And that's what's frustrating. It's been 5 years. What's the deal? I know that in one of my comments they said to get a therapist. And I did. We finally found a place where we could go. Now, I'm going to tell you about it if you're local. It's called Turning Point. And let me tell you, that has been so helpful. These are therapists that are on their way out, and they're going to go out into the world, but they're willing to spend time with you and your family. And my husband and I got into therapy, and that has made it a world of difference. At least it's open communication, because we have had a tough time together right now. It's tough. And we're really, you think that in your process of recovery that you're going to move together, that you're going to think differently, but in a positive direction. And it doesn't always work that way, especially when you have life and we have work and we have teenagers, right? And then you have your body that you're dealing with. I know that with me, I have medical issues. Turning Point, right? And then there's a Lestonnac clinic here in Orange. I'll put the information down. I mean, I wish I could go to, I hear that in September, people are going to Washington, D.C. I wish I could do that. I wish I could, but my daughter wants to go she wants to go to regular school. So that will be a challenge. I'm not driving. So it's still a challenge there. There's challenges that you have to deal with after a seizure, and things change for you. And because I had my seizure and I was driving, fortunately I'm alive. I didn't kill anybody. The state of California wants you to get back in a car safely. I understand. I don't want to kill anybody's child, mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, niece, nephew. You don't want to do that. I don't. I'm a mom. I want somebody to take care of themselves if they were in my situation. So there's a lot. September, and also in September, for people who are going to Washington, D.C., I also don't want to end up being a liability, go all the way over there and end up having to go to the hospital. It's real. All those things are really real. I want to be honest. I want to tell you what's going on. That's why it's been a while since I've done any videos. Even just reading. It's just been a lot. It's trying to process everything and getting myself back together in human form again. And that's part of humanity, right? It's you're messy. And that's okay. Getting back into a regular routine of exercise and all of that is just, it's challenging when you have your issues mentally and you have your issues physically. None of it is easy to go through. And just keep going. Exercise is really good for me and my mind. If you can, try and get out. Don't watch so many videos. Try and get out, sit on some wet grass, put your feet in it, find ways to be able to be outside. Planting inside the house, that's helpful. Or go to the library and get out. So, follow your bliss. and be good humans. So I'm with Jason and we're biking on a nice overcast day off the ocean.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.